Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel for the final by-election roundup video of 2025. We're here, we've made it to the end of the year. This is the last one. It's the last one for a few weeks as well, actually. We'll get onto that at the end. So thank you all for being here. Thank you all once again for the tremendous support we've had, or I've had over this last year. It's been fantastic. We've actually gained about 800 subscribers over the last 28 days, which has been phenomenal. So thank you so much, everyone who's new to the channel. If you are new, this is very much the bread and butter of this channel, going through these by-election results every week. So we'll get straight into it without further ado, and we'll talk about the next couple of weeks at the end of the video, because we're going to have a few weeks, obviously, without these elections to go through to fill in the blanks. I want to hear your thoughts and ideas on what you'd like to see, but more on that later. Straight into these results then. So Greenland's ward in Blackpool, and it was Labour defending, and as expected, Reform win here comfortably as well, has to be said. Here they got 44.4% of the vote, improving by 38 points from 2023. So look, a huge improvement in Reform's vote share up there in Blackpool. Like I said, they are polling incredibly strongly in Blackpool, in that area of the northwest. So I was expecting to see a Reform win. And like I mentioned, there is even the Reform pub in Blackpool. So, all lending itself to expect a big Reform performance here up in Blackpool. Labour then, who are defending, again down 23 points. I can't remember what I said. I expected them to go down, but it's probably something. I think I probably said about 20 points or so. This isn't. I've said this a number of times now, but this isn't surprising anymore. Seeing Labour's vote share get whacked by over 20 points. It's pretty much a weekly occurrence in most places where they go and stand, including areas where they were previously very, very comfortable. So another very bad result for Labour to end the year. Not much sign of a recovery for them. The Conservative Party down 17 points as well. That's not exactly great either, is it? Let's be honest. The two main parties, both of them are in crisis. I do think Labour now in a worse, more chaotic, more existential place than the Conservatives were or are. But both of them very much still in crisis. And the Tories are finishing the year a bit stronger, which we'll see in a minute. But still, results like this go to show that they've got a long, long way to go if they're going to change my mind about them being a finished party. Unfortunately, I'm recording this video before the result in Suffolk has come in. So, unfortunately, I've got no percentage for the turnout. If I remember, because I'll come back to do the Suffolk one later, if I remember when I do that, I'll scroll back up and we'll have a look at the turnouts later. So make sure you stick around to see what the turnouts were like as well. But a big margin of victory for Reform here, like I say, very comfortable, over 20 points. So good result for Reform up in Blackpool. So next one, Cornwall, St Column Minor and Colon Ward in Cornwall, and Reform held. Now, if you watched the video last week and stayed around for the preview section, you know that I said I thought Reform would lose this. Now, the reasons for that being that they've been a bit shaky in these divisions from May, whether divisions that they won in May this year in the local elections 2025. There's been a number of them they've had to defend because of councillor resignations, and they've been a bit shaky defending them. They're actually doing all right now. I think with this one, they must now definitely be or have successfully defended more than they've lost. But for a start, it's a bit shaky. And in Cornwall was the added complication that it's just been a bit messy for Reform down in Cornwall, with councillors defecting, councillors being suspended, resigning from the party, all these sorts of things. So I thought for that reason, sort of compounding on the fact that, generally speaking, these by-elections tends to be less favourable for the incumbent party as well, that they would lose. And they did drop 4 points, but that was enough to keep them in the lead, just under 32% of the vote. So in comparison to Blackpool, a very small share of the vote to win on, but this is far more typical of what we've been seeing this year. Wins in the 30%, very much the norm these days in most places. So Reform there, just under 32% of the votes. In second place was, well, they're kind of almost tied, but I think it was the Independent just about, got 25% of the vote. They were also down 4. The Lib Dems actually had a surge here up to 14%, up 14 points to 23% for them. So yeah, look, a decent result for the Liberal Democrats, but that independent vote in Cornwall is very strong. There's a number of independents on Cornwall Council who are working with the Liberal Democrats to govern that council, and clearly they kind of stopped the Lib Dems from beating Reform, really, didn't they? Essentially, although I don't know what that independent stands for. I don't know. They may be vastly different to the Liberal Democrats, but yeah, so a good result for the Liberal Democrats in terms of vote share change, but not enough to win. The Green Party, they also came in, having not stood in 2020 in May, and increased by 13 points, which is a decent result for them there as well. Look, I've spoken about the Greens a few times. Obviously, there's been a lot of hype around them in the last few weeks. Zach Polanski, the new leader, polling having them up above Labour, a couple of them. Look, this is a good result for them, but they're nowhere near challenging, are they, on 13%? I mean, I do think the Green hype, as I've said, is a little bit overdone, and I think they're going to be a thorn in Labour's side in May, absolutely, but I don't think they're anywhere close to having a big nationwide breakout anytime soon. So a very slim majority then of 6 points for Reform, not the tightest we've seen, mind you, and obviously we'll, if I remember, come back to look at the turnout a bit later on. Market, Harborough, Logan then in Harborough Council. So Leicestershire, if I'm not mistaken. And so this is, like I said, Conservatives ending on a bit of a high because Liberal Democrats defending and the Conservatives win it off them. And I did say in the preview I thought this would be a Lib Dem versus Conservative battle. Now, to preface that, I also said when I said that last time, Reform ended up winning one in Harborough. But look, the divisions as far as the local elections in May went, this area of Leicestershire was Liberal Democrat or Conservative. Reform didn't have much of a look in the Harborough area of the Leicestershire divisions. And look, this is not one we've seen much recently. It's normally the other way around. And when the Liberal Democrats are defending, normally they're increasing their margin of victory, normally, but not in this case. So the Conservatives only increased by 3 points. Again, a very low vote share to win on, really, just under 35%. But as I say, that's very much typical of what we see these days. The Liberal Democrats down 7 points. So, I mean, look, not a huge reduction in their vote share. And actually, sorry, just looking at this, it just reminded me that we did say last week it was advantage Conservatives because this was a multi-councillor ward. The Conservatives won the vote share last time. They came top of the vote share, and the Liberal Democrats got enough to get the second councillor. So actually, this is a notional Conservative hold, actually. So look, that's good news for the Conservatives. Sorry, guys, I've been off ill this whole week. I had the lurgy that everybody's got. So I'm hoping my voice holds out for this video. I completely forgot about last week because of all that. Yes, it's coming back to me now. So this is a notional Conservative hold, actually, because they won the vote share here previously. So look, this is a good result for the Conservatives, nonetheless, to beat the Liberal Democrats and to see their vote share increasing ever so slightly. I mean, look, it's not... I don't think it's a harbinger of a massive comeback in the new year, but like we say, it's a good news story for them. And as I have said earlier, they're in a better place going into 2026 than the Labour Party is. And I think they're actually, to some extent, in a better place than they were coming into 2025, although I don't think they've hit their nadir. I mean, their nadir this year, the bottom for them this year was obviously May, but next May isn't going to be particularly pretty for them either. So things are improving, but they've got more pain to come. The Greens here also improved by just under 5 points, so they're up to 27%. You can see they did quite well here earlier in the year as well. So yeah, look, an increase in the Green vote share, but like I say, it's not a sign of a massive change, is it, coming or sweeping the nation or anything like that. So yeah, look, a good result for the Conservatives. They'll be very, very happy to have gained a seat off the Liberal Democrats. That's all they'll be interested in saying, of course. They're not going to add the technicality that actually they kind of won the ward earlier in the year as well, and now they've notionally held versus the Liberal Democrats. But look, a little bit worried for the Liberal Democrats maybe to see their vote share go down 7% in that part of the country, but there we go. So a slim margin of victory for them, 8 points over the Liberal Democrats. And we'll move on to Broad Oak Ward, South Ribble. So up in Lancashire, this is as expected as well. Liberal Democrats were defending, and as we saw a few weeks ago, up in Lancashire again, I've forgotten what council it was. Pendle, was it? I think maybe Pendle. Liberal Democrats defending, and they hold, basically. No real change on their vote share, as you can see. A very, very comfortable 66% of the vote for them. The others really aren't worth looking at. They're so far behind, but Reform did come in at 21% of the vote, having not stood here before. Labour, again, down 12 points to a measly 5, and finishing in last place behind the Conservatives, who are in third, also down 9.5 points. So there's not too much to say there. Like I say, or said in the preview, the Lib Dems have their little pockets of strong support across the country, but in Lancashire in particular, and this is clearly one of them. So a very, very comfortable margin of victory of 45 points almost. And nothing more to say. Look, I mean, that's what we expected on the preview, and that's exactly what's happened. Right, sorry for the jump cut, but as I said, Suffolk's result wasn't out when the others were, so I had to come back and do this one a bit later. So here we go then, straight into this last result for 2025, and as expected again, if you watched the preview last week, it is a Reform gain off of the Conservatives, who were defending, and actually, I've been quite surprised. This was actually their most comfortable win of the week. I thought Blackpool would be their most comfortable win, but this was by quite a stretch. So look, Reform got almost 50% of the vote. Again, look, incredible. And look, it's Suffolk, right? This was one of the councils where the election was cancelled earlier this year. Of course, it just came out last night on Thursday evening or Thursday afternoon that the government is opening up the possibility to have the postponed elections cancelled once again. I believe East and West Sussex have already taken up the government's offer on that. This is outrageous. And this is why, because the people in these places are clearly unhappy with the people who are currently running them. And even if they weren't, that wouldn't excuse this. But the fact that that is the reason, the obvious reason why these elections are being cancelled, it is outrageous. If you watch the channel for any period of time, you'll know in May that I was absolutely apoplectic about this. I'm still very, very unhappy about it now. I think it runs roughshod over democracy. If the government and these councils can just collude together to cancel elections when they're not convenient to them, I think it's an absolute disgrace, and maybe more on that on future videos if they all get cancelled again. But look, Reform coming in and getting 50% of the vote. The Conservatives then, well, look, we just spoke, didn't we, about the Conservatives getting a decent result by notionally holding against the Liberal Democrats in Harborough. But the electorate giveth and the electorate taketh away. I mean, down 21 points here for the Conservatives is very poor, and just goes to show, look, I think they are in a better position than they were, they are in a better position than Labour, now. But they're still in a world of trouble. They're in so much trouble. They are not, there are no signs of a comeback, really. The best they have is what we saw earlier, very small increases in the vote share, maybe to hold on to an area or two, or to gain one back where they lost very marginally recently. But little hope present at the moment, and it is only going to get worse because May is probably going to plumb a new depth. And actually, ironically, if these elections do go ahead, if the Conservative councillors actually show some courage and decency and have their elections go ahead, then it will be another very, very bad May for the Conservatives, because they'll be on the hook to lose Norfolk, Suffolk, Essex, I think the Isle of Wight is another one. So, look, again, just to give them an honourable mention, because Labour, look, down 27 points as well, even worse than the Tories in terms of vote share decline. As I said earlier, this is normal now, isn't it? This is a weekly basis. Labour declining by, even over 25 points now. And again, May is going to be disastrous for them. If you've watched any of the preview videos that we've done on the channel, you'll know that there is nowhere in the country that's looking like it's going to be pleasant for Labour next year. And they are, in terms of the councils that are up for election in the 2026 normal cycle, Labour are the ones who are massively exposed, and it's not going to be pretty for them at all. The Greens then, 19.4%, again, a decent showing from them in all fairness. Nowhere near winning, but, again, I suppose a strong showing from them to finish in second place as well, actually. So the Conservatives relegated all the way down to third place, Labour down to fourth. Look, isn't that just emblematic of the situation that those two parties are in right now? And just to go through those results on a net basis then, same as we did last week. So this week, Reform are up 2 seats, another very good week for them. The Labour Party down 1, which doesn't sound bad on the face of it, but they were only defending 1. The Conservatives, despite getting that gain off the Liberal Democrats, also down 1. And the Liberal Democrats also down one. Don't see that very often for the Liberal Democrats. So yeah, Reform, the only party to actually gain seats this week. All the others on a net basis losing one. So there you are. I did say, didn't I, that we'd quickly look at the turnout. So let's do that. So it's 22.6% in Pakefield, Suffolk. So a little bit lower compared to what we've seen recently. 35% in South Ribble was decent. 31% in Harborough was decent again. Cornwall was just under 28%, so that's all right. And Blackpool was 25%. So again, that 30% is sort of an average. It's coming down slightly, actually, I think, in more recent weeks to just below 30. But yeah, we're still seeing the turnouts better than they have been historically, I think, which is good for democracy. And look, if you listen to these videos and you don't vote, well, I would encourage you to. Please do go and register to vote. It's all free, and in the end of the day, this is your only opportunity to have your input, isn't it? Whether it's at these local levels or at the national level, you should always go and vote when you have the chance, because that's your, I think it's your societal obligation, in my opinion. So there you go. That's my 2 cents on that. Right, we're now going to go and talk about not next week, because there isn't a next week, of course, and the next by-elections will be the second week of January. But we're just going to have a chat about videos we might do to fill in the gap between now and then. And I know we are, because I've already recorded that. So let's go over to that bit now. Okay, just before you leave me then for this week, and indeed for the year, as far as the by-elections go, I want you to get in the comments and let me know, because I would like to still put out some videos over the Christmas and New Year period for you. Let me know what you'd like to see in absence of doing these by-election roundup videos. We've still got a few of the regional previews for 2026 to go through, so I think time permitting, I'll up those to 2 a week to get those out the way. But if there's anything else you want to see, I did see someone in the comments last week said sort of a 2025 year in review video. That's a pretty good idea. I think I will do that. But yeah, let me know what you'd like to see just to fill in the gaps for the next 2, 3, maybe even 4-ish weeks. Be interested to hear what you guys would like to see. And just to show you a bit of a preview of what's to come, I guess, as far as the 2026 build-up goes. Obviously, we've been doing those preview videos looking at sort of the current council control and some of the more current polling and how things might go. As we go into the new year and we get closer, going to start using this. Anyways, the website's called Yet Another Political Map Simulator. The actual URL is yapms.com, which is fun. It's interactive. We can get involved with this, and as like I said, as we get closer to the actual election date, we can scroll in. So we did West Midlands recently, of course. So you can see that let's say Labour controlling Sandwell there. If you watch that video, you'll remember that we discussed how the whole council's up for election. Reform are doing very, very well. We might go in there and say, actually, we think Reform are going to take control of that. We can change them over and flip them around and things like that. So it could be good fun doing some of that stuff. And I'll probably have egg on my face flipping councils that then don't change or what have you. But that's all part of the fun of doing this. So that's part of the plan going into the new year. We'll start doing that. This website obviously is all free for you to go and use. You won't find this map, unfortunately, because I had to put this together myself. But there's a load of other maps you can use. Unfortunately, the default ones don't really go down to this super local level, unfortunately. But yeah, that's part of my plans. I don't want to say too much at this stage because it is in a provisional sort of place. But one of your fellow subscribers, viewers of the channel, got in touch with me a number of weeks ago, and we've been working on something that could be quite exciting if we can get it to work. Now, this is all very much in the hands of said viewer and subscriber because it's his expertise and not mine by any stretch of the imagination. But we are working on some modelling that, if we can get it to work, will be very interesting videos and some exclusive content on the channel as well. So it's in a provisional stage at the moment. We're working on it. We're doing our best with it. We're both quite excited by the prospect of it, and hopefully we'll get it into a place where we can use it for some video content before May. But even if it's not before May, hopefully we'll have it to use in the future. So that's something that's in the works in the background as well. I don't want to say too much at the moment just in case it doesn't come to fruition in time, but we're I say we, it's not really me doing much of the work, actually. It's your fellow viewer and subscriber who will be mentioned in due course when this all comes to bear some fruit. So yeah, guys, that's the plan for the new year. Excited, of course, by the 2026 build up. Please do as well. Let me know what you'd like to see. As far as the 2026 stuff goes too, I'm open to suggestions. This is all for you guys at the end of the day. So, yeah, just let me know what you guys would like to see, really. And I have to say, as far as the by-election roundups go, that is it for 2025. So we are back looking at by-elections. I think it's on the 15th of January is the first one. It's the second week of January, I think. So that'll be the next by-election roundup. There's only 2 as well to get into, so it'll be a shortish video, so I have to find something to fill the time in with. But yeah, thank you everybody again for the support and the subscribers and liking the video and comments. All your comments have been so fantastic all year. The channel's doing so phenomenally well, better than I ever expected. And as I've said many a time, genuinely very, very humbled by it all. So thank you all for your support. Very, very excited to see in the new year with you and build up to those May 2026 elections. And then, of course, our inaugural live stream on the election night is going to be good fun as well. So very, very exciting few months ahead for us. If you haven't yet, please do subscribe to the channel if you've made it this far into the video and you haven't yet. This is a sort of unique content that we're covering for UK politics here on the channel. Also, of course, please do leave a like. It's very helpful to the channel. And as I said, obviously get in the comments because I do want to hear your suggestions on the videos for the next couple of weeks and going forward. I'm interested to hear your suggestions, what you guys would like to see going forward. Please do get in the comments with those thoughts. So thank you, everybody. If this may be on the 19th, yeah, this probably will be the last video before Christmas, actually, although there will be a regional preview coming out, actually, probably at the weekend. But I'm going to say it now nonetheless because I'm here and I'm thinking about it. So I'd like to wish you all a very happy, joyful, peaceful Christmas. And I will see you all on the next video. Bye-bye.